Happy Thanksgiving, Cuzzo.
Yo, what's good? Happy Turkey Day. Word.
Happy next day, Turkey Day. How about
Word.
that?
Happy next day, Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving. Yo, happy Indigenous People Day. If that's what you
Straight up,
celebrate. You know what I mean?
word, straight up. Happy Indigenous Day. What you eat today?
Um, not too much. I was just with some of my peoples, but after we done here, you know I'm doing Old Faithful. I'm going right to the Thanksgiving leftovers from yesterday. Everybody's eating Thanksgiving food for the next 3 days. Like
Uh, what
that's
up?
what it is. Turkey for breakfast, you know what I mean? Macaroni and cheese for lunch. And
Sometimes, sometimes leftovers are actually better than when it's first served.
yo, yo, all the ingredients get to soak in and do whatever chemistry they doing, and you eat it the next day, and you like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, let's see who's in the chat real quick. Yeah, so the chat is looking live.
Okay.
Chat is looking live. You know what I mean? But it was good. It was good getting together yesterday with the family and all of that, man.
Word.
Word.
So yesterday was the first time in in 5 years that my family got a chance to just be, you know, in the building with everybody else. Between
Word.
the pandemic, and then my mother-in-law was sick for a while, so we was just trying to make sure that everything was good with her. But now she's got a clean bill of health, and it was just good to be back in the building with family. It was super good.
Yeah, man. It definitely was good. You know what I'm saying? To have getting back together with family again. You know what I'm saying? Um, the holidays is with us, so you know, even though family should get together all the time, but if we get a reason to get together, even for for times like that, it's all good, man. You know what I mean? I'm grateful. I'm
Word.
gracious.
And,
I'm
and
gracious. I'm thankful.
and it's always good to be able to get back together and break bread when it's not around tragedy, right? We used to like funerals. You see everybody, and it's like, yo, let's make sure we do this on a lighter note. So even if worse comes to worse, when we catch the Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and we can just all be together, it's incredible.
Absolutely, man. This year was this year was one for the books.
Word,
This year
word.
was definitely one for the books, man. And even still, there's a lot to be thankful for. So a lot of weird, strange events going on this going on this year, but we gotta focus on what we thankful for. You know what I mean?
So,
What we thankful about, man. But what is Todd Craig thankful for?
so So I'm super thankful to have this
Oh
bad boy in the
yeah,
building now. You know what I mean? Like the official tissue
yeah.
award ceremony. But even more than having a plaque, I'm thankful have that you came through to an award ceremony. To the people in the chat, let me share this with y'all. The
I had to
award
represent. I
ceremony.
had to Go ahead.
Word. Now the award ceremony was 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It was the Saturday
Word.
which just passed, 7:30 a.m. Let me tell you this. Not only am I thankful to have you came through and was just there to support and was just there as family to be there to see me receive this award. But yo, you got there at 7:15. You threw me off that you was
Right.
that early.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
so to everybody in the chat, all of them stereotypes about rappers not being able to get up early or getting to something on time, Have is out here breaking the mold.
Yo,
To
yo,
know that.
Yo, not for nothing, man. That's one of my pet peeves is being late, yo. You know what I'm saying? I hate being late. I can't stand it. I won't stand for it. So when you ask, so when you ask me to come through, he's like, yo, you know what I mean? This is a definitely one of those celebratory moments. I was like, nah, I'm gonna come through, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna represent because I want to see you get your flowers and all that. But then when I looked at the time, you was like 7:30. Yeah, I know that's early. I had to call you again real quick to be like, yo, was that a mistake? Is the time a mistake? Like, cause who's all getting together at 7:30 in the morning? But when I got there, I saw that yo, the place was alive and kicking. Like it was
Crazy.
like people was up. And the dope part about it is they had breakfast there, you
Yeah.
know, they had the coffee, they had the breakfast. So it was all good, man. And to see all of those teachers and educators, shall I say, all those educators, not just teachers, but educators, um, all the good work that they doing, it's really like it's the unsung hero work,
Word.
that you don't get to hear on TV every day.
Yeah.
We always hear about this basketball player or this rapper or this singer doing X, Y, and Z, but we don't hear about those people in your life early on that motivated you to kind of shape and mold you to who you are today. Those people that guide you, you know, from elementary to junior high school to high school, in college, these
Yeah.
educators, there's always that one teacher that says something to you and it always sticks with you. And it's just it's a beautiful thing. And it's so ironic that I was searching through some old boxes of mine today, and lo and behold, I found my junior high school yearbook
Oh, that's
from
crazy. IS
125.
125. IS 125.
Yo, I found that, you know what I mean? And I was bugging because I was like, I'm looking at it and it's just bringing back memories. So I'm trying to look at the teachers to see like what teacher I remember, you know what I mean? And
Right.
and and a lot of them, most of them I did not remember. Maybe one or two. I remembered my gym teacher and then this other black lady teacher. And when I looked at my the yearbook, I seen that she wrote something on there.
Okay.
And one thing that she wrote on there, she was like, she was wishing me well, this, that, and the third. And then she was like, I want to, hear back from you in the future of all the successful things that you accomplished in life, you know what I'm saying, later in the future.
Mm.
And she said, just always remember, be careful and pick your friends wisely.
Wow.
And I was really like, um, I was like, what made her say that? She must have saw what kind of a good student I was, and that my route could have probably went either way because she probably saw the type of friends that I had. You know what I mean? But I always was mindful about the company that I kept. You know what I mean?
Right.
I lived, life on the edge when it came to friends, and you know what I mean, and being a follower, but I kind of quickly realized that being a follower wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't natural for me. It didn't feel good because most of the people that I was following was dumb. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm.
sorry to say, you know what I mean? They just was just flat out dumb. You know what I mean? But they seemed cool at the time, but as time went on, you just realized that they just had their whole other set of issues that could not be resolved with me being a friend. It
Mm.
just would have just kind of like ended ugly for me. So going back to the yearbook, when I saw that, I was like, damn, I wanted to look the teacher up and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying, it's such and such. But
Or
I'm sure, you know what I mean. One way or the other, she probably tracked, my history. And she was a young teacher at that, because when I'm looking at her now, she couldn't have been no more out of her 20s. You know what I mean? She looked like she probably was like 28 at the time. Like, you
Oh,
know what I
that's
mean?
crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was 13. 28 at that time was like, she probably was looking like an old lady to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Back
She
then,
like at that point, she's old enough to be your mom's.
pretty much, kind of. She
Like
maybe
a
she could have been
she's
maybe
28, junior high
maybe
school. You
she
like
might have been
13.
25. She might have been 25, but at
Okay.
that, yeah, she
Right.
might have been 20. She could have been like my big sister. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because
Right.
the
Or your
teachers,
aunt.
yeah, because teachers come in fairly young when they come in.
Right.
It's just it's not until later until they build up their tenure, and you probably could tell us more about that. But teachers when they come in when we're younger, they look old to us, but these teachers probably coming in is probably like 25 when they
Yeah.
starting out, maybe 24. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they
And
just hit the ground running.
yeah, anywhere they could be anywhere from like 22, which is if you went from high school straight into college 4 years, you could be 22 starting to teach. And
Right.
um or if you went and got your master's and then started teaching, maybe
Hmm.
you might be like 24, 25.
Yeah. So that's how she looked. So with that being said, I'm kind of thankful for some of the teachers that I had that pushed me along the way. That threw that little bug in my ear. To try to be different. Not try to be different, but just be different. Don't be a
Right.
follower. And just stay the course. You know, because right after that, I went straight to art and design high school, and it was on and popping. But in a good way. In a
Right,
good
right,
way.
right. Yo,
It was. It was I
that was
mean,
part of the start.
I had no idea that I would get to that school, spend a year in that school, and then a year later, I would meet Prodigy.
Right.
So I'm thankful for the choices that I made early on in junior high school to want to go to a school to do architecture because though I did not get a chance to do actual architecture, I did become an architect in what I'm saying, constructing
Sound.
music,
Word.
sound. There you
Word.
go.
Definitely an architect of sound.
Yeah, and one thing led to another. So I'm super thankful for being able to go to the High School of Art and Design, because that was definitely, if I could just say, like, if there's like ever a moment where you feel like there's a fork in the road in your life, that was definitely it. Because
Mm,
I could have just said, you know what, I don't care about high school. Let me just go to the local high school and like everybody else, and just get through high school. But I really wanted more out of life at a very young age. And I think it had a lot to do with you know my surroundings. What I grew, my environment, what I grew up around. We grew up around hell.
yeah.
I mean, things that kids shouldn't even
See.
have to see. You
Word.
know what I mean? With all the drugs and the shooting and this, that, and the third. But at the same time, it made us who we are today. You know what I mean? Adversity builds character.
Word.
Either it's gonna make you or it's gonna break you. And a lot of our peers, or people that we grew up with, our associates, they may have seemed strong, back in those days because they was bold and they was doing things, and it ended them in places where they can't get back from, like you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
jail or dead. Both of us, we took that route of, we wanted to be successful. Like, when at what moment in your life, like, was it in junior high school, elementary, or high school, that you said, "Yo, I'm trying to do something great"?
I I think it was junior high school when I was like, yo, I want to go away to school. To this day, I don't know how I figured it out. I don't know how I came up with it. And my mother was just like, I think when I told her, she was just like, she probably heard me and was like, yeah, all right, you want to go away to school? All right, you figure it out.
Right.
And I think she said that like, there's no way he's gonna figure it out. And I figured it out. It was
Word.
crazy. And you know, it was part me figuring out, and then part those teachers along the way. So, you know, I always shout out Junior High School 204, Oliver Wendell Holmes Academy. I always shout out Gloria Powell, because Miss Powell was the seventh grade assistant principal. She called me over the loudspeaker, and when she found out I was taking the SSAT, she was like, "We've been doing prep for months. We can't prep you now. It's the day before the test." She was like, "Well, put these codes on your exam." And she gave me a code to Northfield Mount Hermon. She gave me the code to Phillips Exeter Academy, and she gave me the code to A Better Chance. And ABC was the scholarship organization that accepted me. They wound up sending my application to St. George's School, and the rest is history.
Wow.
And I don't even know if at that time I thought I was like, I didn't think I was doing something great. I was just, at the time, I said, I know there's more to life than these 6-story brick buildings. And it was just how do I get to that? Like, I know it's more to life than this. And not to, you know, like, I love the hood we grew up in. I love the people who we grew up with, because they helped to shape our character. We definitely saw a lot of things that we shouldn't have seen in our youth. But that also shaped and molded us. But I don't know if I thought that I was going to be on the track to do something great. I think I just thought, like, I know that, like, I know what these surroundings look like, and I know how the hood just swallows people up. And so my thing was, I just know that if I want to be able to make it, I got to figure out a way out of here. And the one thing I knew was education.
Right.
And so I followed that track. And it took a minute. But it was the right choice. It worked out.
Let me ask you this though. When you went to St. George's, you decided to go away to high school, which was all the way in Rhode Island, by the way. You know, a foreign state.
3.5 hours away.
3.5 hours away, and it doesn't have any reflection of where you came from, if you know what I mean.
The absolute opposite.
Did hip hop did hip hop help you through those times of being in a different environment? Because I know that you are versatile. You can adapt to any environment, because a lot of times in our heart, it's not about black and white. On the outside, it's black and white, but on the inside of us, it's like, we're gonna get along fine, you know, wherever we at, because we just people, you know, we people. So how did hip hop help you in that journey up there? And it's kind of like you was by yourself, even though I know you made friends along the way. But how did hip hop help you?
I mean, that was the thing that, like, hip hop sustained me and saved my life in all of those difficult moments. And in those moments where I didn't think I could do the schoolwork, in those moments where I didn't think I was, you know, when I didn't think I was good enough, because there was students who was like, yo, I'm rich. My friend could have paid the tuition, but you black and you poor, like, you taking my friend's spot. Yeah, there was a lot of crazy things that people said, but hip hop was the thing that just allowed me to maintain. And have you remember, like, I used to be at home taping Marley Marl and Pete Rock and bringing those tapes with me just to be like, yo, I need this to get through that part up there. Like, this is the only thing that's gonna help me make it through. I still got some of those tapes. I was just looking between Mr. Magic and Marley tapes, Marley and Pete Rock, Marley and Clark Kent, when Pete Rock did Future Flavors, Stretch and Bobbito. Like, I know people think it sounds crazy, but yo, that those tapes and hearing those certain songs would just, yo, it made me feel like I could make it through.
Right.
Like, and even in moments I used to always say this, and when I was going through college, I was like, yo, if P could tell that story in like 16 bars, I could write a 3-page paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, if
Mm-hmm.
Nas could tell that kind of story in like 3.5, 4 minutes, I could write a 5-page paper. I
Right.
could write a 7-page paper. I could
Right.
write a 10-page, 12-page, 15-page. Next thing I knew, I'm at like 20,
Bars.
30 plus. But it was really and I say it all the time, I really learned how to write, how to make arguments, how to tell stories through listening to hip hop and through listening to artists and really studying the music. That was the thing that really helped me to make it through.
Wow. I mean, I wouldn't expect nothing less. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you in certain places with that, like away from home, it's like hip hop is like your friend. You know what
Yo,
I mean? It's talking to you.
yo, yo.
Word, it's talking to you. You know what I mean? It's
Yo,
talking your language.
man,
You know
listen,
what I mean?
when I was at Harvard, the thing that got me through Harvard was Stretch and Bob. That was right when that was when the Nas album came out.
Mm-hmm.
Which album? It wasn't Illmatic. Was it? It was written. I forget whether it was written or if it was the next album, I Am. It might have been I Am.
Uh-huh.
And then so I was listening to that, and then I was also listening to, I had the tape from you from the songs that was about to be the building blocks for Murder Music. And
Mm.
that's what got me through Harvard. Like,
Wow.
without that, it doesn't work. And you remember, I used to, so for the people in the chat who are listening, word of mother, I used to be in Boston at Harvard calling Hav in the studio, like, yo, I just got an A on this paper. Yo, I just got another A in this class. Yo, Gotti used to always pick up the phone and be like, yo, Todd, what did you say? You got an A
Right.
in what? Yo, Todd's getting A's at Harvard. Like, it was
Right.
just,
Right. Killing them.
yo, it was but hip hop was the thing, and it wasn't like I was sharing that with y'all, and y'all are in the studio creating a masterpiece. So yeah, when people are talking about hip hop saved my life, people ain't playing around.
They
Like,
mean it.
yeah, like it's real talk. It might sound cliche or just sound like something that sounds cool to say, but yo, there's really a moment in time where like I could run down all of the albums that influenced the work that I was doing and the way that I was writing. By the time I finished, I had written a master's thesis. I didn't have to do it. One of my professors was like, you've written more in one semester than some of my doctoral students have written. And I didn't know what she meant at the time. But now having my doctorate, I know exactly
Right.
what she meant. Like, oh, because
Yeah.
I was cooking.
She said
And
you chefing it up right now.
and yo, it was the things that I was doing was I was reading the articles and the books that they were giving me, and I was taking quotes from those, and then I was taking quotes from hip hop songs and putting those quotes from hip hop next to the academic quotes and trying to figure it out and being like, yo, y'all say this, but this person over here said this. And I know this is
Right.
in the hood to be true. How do we make sense of what seems to be two really different worlds?
Mm-hmm. I
So
mean,
yo, like I'm super thankful for hip hop all day. If not for hip hop, I'm not sitting here at all.
right, right. I mean, that's how important hip hop is, and how much we take it for granted. You know, hip hop. It's not just music. It's a breathing thing. You know what I mean? That could get you through a lot of difficult times. It could get you through good times. Even I meet a lot of people, and they tell me that, yo, man, your song or X, Y, and Z, you know, got me through hard times, and
Right.
and I can imagine, how many other artists helped them do the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just not tomorrow deep or whatever, but a lot of artists out there, man, it it inspires you. Like, it really inspires you. Like, I remember, listening to Tropical Quest, like that stuff that just used to inspire me, man. Like, you know what I mean? It just sounded so fresh and so dope. You know what I mean? Shout out to Q Tip,
Word.
So yeah, man, hey, we thankful for hip hop, man, because if it wasn't for hip hop, I probably, I don't know. I know I would have did something, but I'm just saying, let me just thank hip hop for helping me travel the world.
Word. Word.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
yeah, I'm not sure. Like, if not for hip hop, I don't know. Like, I think I might have made some bad might have made some bad choices.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Hip hop wouldn't have let you do that. It wouldn't
Right.
have allowed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hip hop tell you to thug it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
No matter
yeah.
what.
And that's the thing. If not for hip hop, I don't know. Cause
Right. What's the world without it? What do
and
that look like?
and look, we come from a hood where it's like one bad decision is all
Hmm.
it takes for you to be just finished.
That's very true.
Finished dead, finished in jail, finished like just
Very true.
not yeah, like and we know too many people that didn't, you know, they not here to talk about life anymore. Um, you know, whether they maybe they in jail with super numbers like football
Yeah.
numbers. You know what I mean? Maybe they, made a bad decision that got them caught up, and unfortunately their life was cut short. We know too many people who just good people
Yeah.
that didn't get to, that didn't get to see the next day. So um yeah, I don't know what this looks like without hip hop for real. So super
Yeah.
thankful for hip hop right now, without
And
question.
yeah, you got to be thankful for your mind. You know what I mean? Your mind to help you make more of the right decision than the wrong decision. Because
Word,
more of the wrong decisions is just how you twist it.
word.
Touching back on what you said, a lot of our peoples didn't make it out, and we don't judge them. We don't judge
No,
them
never that. Never that.
because when you're in that environment, I mean, things are spontaneous. Somebody could be like, "Yo, come with me over here," and then your whole life could change for the worse.
For
And
real.
you just chilling and you hanging out. I remember one time. This is before Juvenile Hell. This is before definitely the infamous. I went one of my homeboys. Well, he wasn't my homeboy. He was a cousin of one of my homeboys, but he was cool. You know what I'm saying? He used to come to projects all that. He was real cool. He was like, yo, I think he was from Uptown too. He's like, yo, he told me and one of my other friends, he was like, yo, come with me uptown. My boy is having a birthday party. It's his birthday. We're gonna go up there, we're gonna drink, we're gonna chill. So I'm like, all right, cool, you know what I'm saying? Word, let's go. You know what I mean? Yo, we get up there. It's in some projects uptown in Harlem, right off 125th Street. I forget the name of it. But we get up there, we get in the building, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna go in there. first he was telling us a story about how his girl cheated on him, and you know he used to be going down on her or whatever, so he feel like he was just playing for the other team because he was going down on her now. So you know what I mean? Because if somebody is doing her and he going down on her,
Oh
he feel crazy now. You know what I'm saying? He feel crazy. So this was in his mind. That's what he said. So he said, "Yo, let's stop at her house first." And I'm like, "All right, you know what I mean? Whatever." So he said, "Yo, I'm gonna go inside of there, and you know, if somebody try to run out, just hold the door." And I'm looking at this nigga like, "Hold the door? What? Wait, what? What are you do? What are you? What are we? I thought we going to a birthday party." So this dude goes into the crib. I hear all this kind of commotion. His girl must have been living with some other people. They like, yo, this not happening in this house. And yo, this dude was beating the girl up. I was like, yo, son, I'm not here for this. I'm out of here.
Oh man.
I'm out of here, out of here. Ran down the stairs so fast. As soon as I got out, he actually was pistol whipping the girl, to be honest with you. So when I saw that, I was like, oh no. We not being part of this. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm out of here. Police was right downstairs. They locked his ass right up.
All the way up. Right. Immediately.
And rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, son, you trying to get me locked up.
That's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, think about it. Now, what if the police would have just grabbed me and my friend and said, yo, y'all was accessories to that. Y'all was accessories to that. We didn't have no idea what this dude was doing. But there's probably a lot of our peoples locked up for things like that.
Right.
And this dude had mental issues. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't have nothing to do with that. We just thought he was cool. So you have to, as a young man, you gotta watch the people that you hanging with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's wild out here for the young kids out here. It's wild out here because you might be hanging with people that you think is cool and they do something crazy and you're gonna be caught up in that.
And look, that's a perfect example of how one decision could change the whole course of your life, and you might not even know the decision you making isn't even a bad one. You like, yo, let me go to this party. I'm just trying to go and drink and chill and be in the party. Now look, you make a decision about A, homie made a decision in his mind about B, C, and D. And that could have went super left.
It would have went super left. Homeboy was a weirdo. You know what I mean? He two innocent kids. He like, oh, come on, let's go party with my friends. And be like, all right, we go party with you. Now you beating up your girl, son, with a gun.
Yeah,
I don't condone that. I don't condone that. I don't condone that. He got locked up for that. They let him go, and then maybe a couple of years later, I think he burnt down some other girl's crib. Like, yo, people crazy, son.
Yeah.
I wasn't around him for that. Then he did some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I never, people's crazy. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is that you have to make the right decisions. You know what I mean? Because just the wrong decision or the wrong people that you hang around, you got to pat yourself on the back to be like, I don't mess with those people over there. Like, just walk your own path. Because believe me, if police would have been like, come in, you was with him, what I'm gonna say?
Yeah. It's over.
I didn't know he was gonna do that. Like, I really didn't know he was gonna do that. They were like, yeah, tell it to the judge.
Right.
Tell it to the judge. Judge's gonna be like, yeah, I know what y'all guys be doing. Y'all all be together, y'all. Right. Now I'm locked up. Now it's no Infamous album.
Now it's Infamous. There's no Juke on Hell even.
You know what I mean? Now I'm working in Mickey D's. Not that it's bad, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to work at Mickey D's. You know what I mean? So it's just
the whole course of your life.
Yeah, so it's alternate universe. Right. Alternate universe, man. You know what I mean? So everybody out there doing their thing, Be thankful for your mind, for your mind keeping you out of trouble, and to stay away from certain folks, because people will pull you down.
For real.
People will pull you down. You know, what's that old saying? They go, uh, misery loves company.
Word.
And
Word.
that's real
That's
talk.
super real.
Misery loves company. And a lot of miserable people, they hide it well.
Mm.
They hide it very well. And they hide it in, they mask it with a good time. Come on, let's go have fun. And 9 times out of 10, the things that they asking you to come do is not the thing to do.
Right.
It's not the
Right.
thing to do at all. You know. And then when we hear our parents saying like, "Hey, don't hang with them," or you know, some OGs be like, hey, man, you need to pick better friends." They don't listen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, and listen, while you on the topic of parents, yo, shout out to my moms who made sure
Mm-hmm.
she just kept us on the right track. And the thing she used to say, she did it real ill. She was like, yo, the only thing you owe me in life is a high school diploma. She
Right.
was like, you owe that to me. Like, and yo, it got programmed in our mind, like, yo, all right, well, listen, I just gotta give her a high school diploma. I gotta make sure I get an education. So it was a real covert way that she did it, just to make sure that we stayed on point. Um, and yo, just the example that she set was super crazy. Um, just in terms of how family is important, how staying on the right path is important, how just being a good person and doing the right thing is super important. Um, she made sure that all of that was instilled in all of us. So, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I know when grandma used to be like, matter of fact, when I came back home with my first record deal for juvenile hell, you know what I'm saying, grandma wasn't having it. She was like, education first.
yeah.
She was about that life. She was like, education first. I was like, nah, this first. I was like, this. I was like, not this first. I was like, let's do them both.
Right.
Can we do them both? You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. I loved school. You know what I'm saying? I loved school. I loved high school. High school was dope. You know what I mean? Like, high school was dope.
Yeah, and you had the super, like, for a lot of people that might not realize, like, back then, I don't know if you still gotta do the same thing now to get into art and design, but back then to get into art and design, you had to submit a portfolio of your work. And a lot of people don't know, yo, that
Mhm.
the Havoc portfolio was
Word.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
just the artistic talent you had at that time was crazy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. And I made my portfolio like the night before. I was like, oh snap, I gotta have 12 pictures. I drew like 12 things real quick. You know what I mean? I drew everything, sneakers, self-portraits, all kinds of
Right.
stuff. You know what I
It was
mean?
crazy. I remember the one of the pictures you had was a picture of, it was the Incredible Hulk from one of the graphic
Oh,
novels that I
oh
had from
wow.
when I was collecting comics. And
Wow.
you just flipped it and made it into something else. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
It was abstract art.
Now it was the Hulk, but then the way you had the hand, like, it was just like you took the graphic novel to another level.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love art. I love it to this day. I still try to get my painting in,
Okay.
every now and then. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, high school was dope. I had fun. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm thankful for that, for the experiences on that. And today, in today's climate, what I'm thankful for today is, yeah, the decisions I made then to help me do what I'm doing now. I'm thankful to still be able to make music. You know what I'm saying? Word, for real. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this music thing is crazy. I was just at Styles P birthday celebration the other day.
Okay.
Posted it on my page. Shouts out to SP, the Ghost, 50th
Whoa.
birthday party. Man. His wife really put on for him, man. It was so dope. It was at this castle out in Westchester. And yo, when you first walked up on the castle, it said SP. You know what I'm saying? It like they had some projection on the front of it. It said SP. The drinks, when you got the ice, it said SP in it. It was
Oh, that's
crazy.
crazy.
They had pictures of him up on the wall, and and one of the favorite parts that I really enjoyed, they had oxtail pizza. I tore that slice up. I
Shout out
tore
to
that.
Styles P for
Yeah,
that. That's
that
crazy.
yeah, I tore that slice up, man. I tore that slice up. That slice was like, I was like, "What's that right there?" She was like, "Oh yeah, oxtail." That's all I needed to hear.
She didn't even get to finish the set.
I was like, "Let me get a slice of that." I ain't want to look greedy, so I only ate one slice, but I did want to take a box home.
Oh
But
man.
I got etiquette, so you know what I mean. I ain't want to be, you know what I mean. But if I could do it again, I would have went home with like two pieces of that. You know what I
Man.
mean? But it was a dope celebration. Fat Joe was there, Raekwon was there,
Rakim
Sheik
performed.
Luch,
Right.
Rakim,
Right.
Sheik Luch, Jada Kiss, Rakim performed. The group home was there.
Oh, that's dope.
Rel from remember, I think he was signed to the
Rel
Rock.
was signed to
To the Rock.
or was he signed to
Murder Inc. Was it
Cameron?
Murder?
He signed to Diplomats?
He was signed to Diplomats, Rel. He was.
Ah.
You talking about Hell Rel? I'm not you. I'm not talking about Hell Rel. I'm talking about
Oh, okay.
Rel, the
Oh, okay.
singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the singer. He was. So he was there. Um, I wasn't expecting to perform, but yo, you know what I'm saying? This is SP. This is his 50th birthday party. So they asked me to jump on. I'm jumping on. Black Thought
Right.
was there. Black
Right.
Thought was there. Um, it was really nice, man, and it felt good. I'm thankful for being there. You know what I mean? I'm
Word.
thankful to have got invited to such an event, like celebrating 50 years of you know Styles P. You know what I mean? I consider him a friend, a good friend. It was good to see my fellow artists getting together and celebrating one another.
Right.
Um, it was the camaraderie is just so dope. I see those guys every so often, and it's like a nice little small knit family. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we
Word.
see each other, we kick in and we talk, and you know all of those things. So I'm real thankful for that, man. Again, shouts out to Styles P.
Word. Happy
Um,
birthday, Styles.
happy birthday. You know, those kind of events, they stick with you. You know what I mean? They stick in your brain. It wasn't one of those industry events. It was personal.
Right. Right.
So yeah, shouts out to them. I think I'm gonna have a 50th birthday party, even though I just turned 50. But next year I'm gonna have a 50th birthday party because again,
Because you didn't have one. Yeah.
because I didn't have one. How you having a 50th birthday party but you 51? Nah, because I didn't party on my 50th. So this is my
Right.
50th birthday party on my 51st birthday. We could do that.
All right, listen. If you do it the day before, technically you could make it a celebration of the 364 days you lived being 50.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I see educators, man. See these educators, man. They come up with slick ways to label that help you get by.
Right.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
good.
We
That's a
make
good
it work.
idea. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. That's a great idea, man. So yeah, I'm thankful for this podcast. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
the numbers, the
This has
numbers
been
is
incredible.
the numbers are growing.
Right.
And we don't got to do all of the what they call that the
We don't
bait
got
traps or what a click
yeah, we
bait
don't gotta do a lot of clickbait,
or
not a
and
lot of
all of
hot
that. This
takes up
is
in here.
yeah, this is just you know what I mean. Everything that's about hip hop, man. You know what I mean. Everything that's about hip hop. You know what I mean. Try to be positive most of the time. 99.9% of the time. Sometimes we might have to talk about current events or things that ain't so positive. You know what
Right.
I mean? But you know, we just we talking and enjoying the chat. What's going on in the chat right now? What's going on in the chat?
Right. I
Somebody
think
said,
Mass LVL just said not clickbait or clout chasing, just real hip hop.
"Word up, word up."
So word, nah, it's I don't know. I don't think there's any other way to do it. It makes sense to do it this way.
Nah, for sure, for sure, for sure. I'm trying to see. Somebody said, "Have not reading comments, y'all." Somebody said something crazy in here.
Uh-oh.
Did you meet
Uh-oh.
Prodigy at high school? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody knows that.
Oh, somebody
Uh,
in the chat asked if you was a graffiti artist back in the day.
oh yeah, I definitely was a graffiti artist back in the days. I definitely was. My tag name was Nal. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I met Sasha Jenkins. He was Sash back in the days. We was tagging up on the trains, and now he's the one that did the Wu-Tang documentary.
Right.
He almost won a what they call it, an Oscar or something like that
Almost on
for
an
it.
Oscar for that? Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
he almost won an Oscar for that. Word. So yeah, I was the graffiti writer back then, and I don't know. I love graffiti, man. Growing up in the '80s, the graffiti was just crazy, yo.
Oh.
People, y'all can't even imagine how the trains used to look back in the days. How the
Woo.
trains used to look back in the days. Like the trains was like they looked crazy.
Like
They
they
looked
look like
crazy.
museums. They look like straight
Right.
graffiti
Yeah.
installations that you would see now in a museum that they used to
Word.
try and buff off the trains.
Word. Word.
They
Like I
said it
mean,
was
they
defacing
used,
property.
they used to do whole art pieces on the trains. You know what I mean? I mean, it was crazy, and then a lot of it was trash because it was just vandalism.
Right.
But a lot of it was dope, though. A lot of it was dope. So yeah, I definitely was a graffiti writer early. You know what I mean? Y'all know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying?
And have somebody in the chat said, "Are you really putting out new Mobb Deep music?" That's a definite, absolute yes.
It is a yes. Yes, I am. Not me. I can't say like I'm doing it by myself. Nah, a Mobb Deep album is getting put out. You know what I mean? Um, we working on it. That's all I got for you right now. We working on it. I mean,
Lot of updates probably for the new year in 2025. That might
nah,
be the best way to say it.
yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna, you know, let the cat out the bag. But yeah, we working on it, and actually, that's why we were kind of late coming inside on this podcast today because I was just sitting here beating my heart away. You know what I'm saying on the drum pads. I was just like, you know what I'm saying. I'm like sitting here making beats, and I'm like, oh snap. I said I forgot because we had spoke early. It was like, yo, we gonna
Right,
jump in here. So we already knew we was gonna jump in about around 7:30. You know what I
right.
mean? We knew that. But then I just got a little carried away with the beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here just like
And yo, let me tell y'all something. When I was with Hav yesterday, he was just playing me just little snippets, samples, and what he's working on.
that's
Woo!
just that was
Can't
just
can't
you know
wait.
what I mean? That was something like that was something real like that was something real like
Right.
but you know what I mean? Yeah, um this is what I do every day, all day. It's what I love to do. People ask me like, yo, what's the average day for you? What up? Making beats Okay.
Right.
They'd be like, all right, cool. That's what's up. What you do for fun?
Making
Make
beats.
beats. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do, man. That's what I love to do. I don't know. It's just it's not like it. It's peaceful. It's exciting. It's nerve wracking. All wrapped up in one. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I do every day. Heard what else they saying over here? I got the native instruments upgrade on sale. Oh, all right, okay. Good for you, player. Good for you, player. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh
I
yeah.
love a sale. It is
Snatch
Black
up a little
Friday, right?
Black
It's,
word. Snatch up a
it's
little
Black.
Black Friday native
It's,
instrument sale. Go
it's
ahead.
Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
Black Friday. Go get your sales. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna go like this. Hold on. So when y'all motherfuckers be leaving, let's see. Yeah, sometimes because the chat going so fast that
Yeah.
it's like,
Yo, have somebody said in the chat your solo album 13 is way too underrated. Would like to see a show with your solo joints.
a show with my solo drinks.
Yeah, I guess a show with joints off of 13.
Um, oh, off of 13.
I mean, if you think about it, you got 13, you got the Silent Partner, that album you did with Alchemist. You got the From Now On the mixtape joint that was just you on a solo. There's
Right.
a lot of, there's a lot of solo have music.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch it up a little bit on this next run that we do in Europe and Canada. I might hit him with a couple of songs from 13. You know what I mean? Or you never know.
Uh-oh.
Or you never know. You never know, people. But yeah, we got the Canada run coming. We got the Europe run coming. That's a long run right there too, man. I'm gonna have to bring 2 suitcases.
Yo,
Like,
can you give us some of the details on what that's going to look
well,
like?
well, we're gonna be performing. Probably we're gonna tease some of the new songs, right? So the supporters can hear some of the new songs. You
Okay.
know what I mean? We're gonna tease some of the new songs. We're gonna do that. Maybe even perform them in their entirety. You know what
Uh-oh.
I mean? Somebody asked when's the next U.S. tour. I definitely don't know when the next U.S. tour, but I know we're doing Canada and we're doing Europe. The U.S. run might be in like I'll say 2025, like maybe summertime, something like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? By that time, the uh,
Album will be out.
the album would have been out, and yeah, we'll do a U.S. run. But I just gotta say this, man, y'all gotta come out. Y'all gotta come out because Europe is beating y'all. You know what I'm saying? Europe is beating y'all. Like what? This is hip hop. That when you go over there and you and believe me, I know that how we love it just as much as anybody else loves it. But right now, Europe is killing y'all. You know what I mean? Like they come out.
They support. They support the
You know what I'm
music.
saying? They come. I don't know if y'all got to work or y'all don't got babysitters or something. But when we do that U.S. tour, come out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all don't come out, I don't like performing in front of like 4 people. I'm just not gonna do it. Now I'll do it. You know what I mean? But come on, it don't feel good. It's like so I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's these promoters not promoting the shows correctly, or people just I don't know had enough. I don't know, but I know in Europe they going crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like so you know US, y'all got to step it up. Yeah, y'all got to step it up. You know what I mean? Hit your local promoters. Say, yo, we want to see Mobb Deep or whoever. You know what I mean? To get that hip hop flowing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And have there's people in the chat. You never come to Michigan. come to Ohio or PA, I'll pop out. Like people are saying that they want to see y'all on this
Hey,
US tour. So
trust me, it's nothing like touring home, man. It's nothing like touring the States. You know what I mean? It's an honor. You know what I mean? It's an honor. It don't cost that much for y'all, right? I mean, everybody can spare a little 20, 30, 40, $50. Just come through. You know what I mean? Because look, you're not gonna see these shows live, right? How many times you gonna get a chance to see them live? You know what I mean? And we performing these songs live so you could feel it. You know what I mean? So you could really, really feel it.
and it's
And you
different
know,
live. It's definitely a different experience hearing it live versus just hearing the songs.
yeah. I would say it's a different experience. You know what I mean? It definitely is. Um, you know, you get to see or hear in person some of your favorite songs. You know what I mean? That you grew up listening to, that you know, that you share memories with, and it's always special in person. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always special in person. I always wish I got to see like Michael Jackson perform before. You know
Word.
what I'm saying? Like he's the ultimate. You know what I mean? But yeah, y'all gotta come out, man. I ain't trying to shit on y'all. You know what I'm saying? In the States, nothing like that. Like I said, it's nothing better than performing for the hometown. You know what I mean? For the States. But I don't know if it's these promoters or whatever it is, but we'll figure it out. You know what I think it is? I think, a lot of Americans, they want to get more for their money. And I feel them, right? You know what I mean? If you're going to spend some money, I want to see a show. I just don't want to see one group. I want to see 5 groups. I get
Mm,
it. I get it. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? So yo, there might be a nice little package coming your way, because I think I did hear of a nice little tour being set up with a
uh-oh.
few of the groups we know and love, and
Uh-oh.
Mobb Deep being included in that.
Uh-oh.
That being said, um,
Don't not go to the show once you hear.
yes, y'all gotta come out, because we leaving our families to come perform with y'all. You know what I mean? And time is valuable. Like your time is valuable, our time is everybody's time is valuable. You know what I mean? Come through. Let's celebrate. Leave all the drama at home. Leave all the ice grills at home. Leave that. You know what I'm saying? If you want an ice grill, go put yourself in a corner. Time out. Just stand in the
Right.
corner and just ice grill the corner because you look stupid. You know
Somebody
what I
said I'm
mean?
coming through 20 deep. Just come through 20 deep,
No, come through
happy.
1,000 deep.
Right.
come through 1,000 deep. Fill the venue up. You know what
Right.
I mean? That's what we talking about. That's the talk I'm talking about. Come through 20 deep. Come bring your peoples. Bring your. Nah, I ain't gonna say bring your kids, just in case something happens. You know what I mean? But come through, man. Bring your grandma. You know what I mean? She might know more of this hip hop than you do.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? Word
Uh-oh.
up. But I love Michigan. Michigan is one of those states. As soon as you touch it, you like it's real out here. You know what I mean? Michigan,
Mm,
they love hip hop. That Michigan is hip hop. They
okay.
hip hop. You know what I mean? I love Michigan for real. You know what I'm saying? Those are people. I mean, you know, word, word. Like, I mean, yeah, that's Motown, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Detroit
That's
and Michigan, the deep.
that's that's
Yeah.
that's Motown. Like, it don't get no more music than that.
Right.
It don't get. Remember yesterday we was talking about Motown 50, right?
Right.
I mean, no, Motown 25.
We was talking about Motown
We was
25,
talking
and then
about
we was talking
Motown
about
25.
Motown the label and just running through all the artists that was on the label and how they was
Incredible, incredible.
ranking out the
Motown 25. That was the time when Michael Jackson went bananas. He went solo. He did the moonwalk across the stage.
Word.
The stage was set, and he sold the most records in history. After that, he sold
Right.
the most records in history with Thriller. And all of that was, his platform was Motown. You know what I'm saying? His platform was Motown, and that's Michigan. So it's a lot of history in Michigan. I love Michigan. I love going out there because it just feels so dope because they get it in Michigan. They get it, you know. So it's no surprise that that a lot of dope artists come from out of there. You got Eminem, and my other boy,
Royce the 5'9",
yes, you know what I'm
Jay
saying?
Dilla, the whole
Yes,
D12.
yes,
There's
yes.
too many people.
Trick.
Right, Trick,
Yeah,
Slum
man.
Village, Big Sean.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
Come
lot
on,
of, and
come
listen,
on.
there-
Michigan gets it. So yeah, we will be. I'll go to Michigan to perform if there's only 4 people, but I know that's not happening. Michigan comes out. Michigan is one of those states that you don't even have to tell them to come out. Like if Mobb Deep is coming, they there. You know what I'm saying? They and if you from Michigan, tell me I'm lying. Nope, I'm not lying. Michigan knows when it's an event, Michigan comes
in
out.
the building.
They are in the building for sure.
Word, and people in the chat, Cash Doll is from Detroit. Rest in peace to Proof, of course. The whole D12, Obi Trice.
And we said Eminem, right?
Yeah, we said Eminem. That's like a given. And then and then Boldy James is from
James.
Detroit.
Yes.
Boldy is crazy.
Shouts out to Boldy James. Yes. Word. For real. Yeah. Somebody said Havoc and Conway the Machine album. Yep. You never know, man. You never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. Yeah, I'm working on this Havoc and Banks album right now. That should be crazy.
Oh, word?
I'm messing with you. Nah, I'm not messing with you. No, we doing it.
That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to keep that secret, but might as well get them ready for that one. That one's gonna come. You know what I mean? That one's gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying?
2025 is sounding like it's about to be crazy for you.
Man, I just wanted to be schizophrenic. I wanted to be real crazy. You know what I mean? Working on a book, working on the movie, just everything, man. Just everything that, life is beautiful. We have so many opportunities to just do whatever we want to every time we get the chance to wake up. God wake us up. When we wake up in the morning, it's like we got to do the most out of our day. You know what I mean? You was lucky enough to wake up. Why not do it all? You know what I'm saying? Don't waste the day. That's what I'm all about. Not wasting a day. So,
look,
a lot of sense. It do make a lot of sense, man. But I can't wait to get out there and get on the road. So I got to get as much beats in as possible. On that note, I'm gonna have to say good night. You know what I'm saying? No,
let me get back to punching these.
I gotta get back to these beats. I can sit here and talk to y'all all night. I ain't gonna lie. Because more and more that we, I start looking at the chat, and I just be like, man, I feel like answering everybody.
Right.
We could be here for another 2 hours.
Right.
But on that note, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. I hope everybody's safe.
Word.
And in good health. You know what I mean? Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Do it to the fullest. Whatever you're doing in a positive way, do it to the fullest. Don't give up. You know what I mean? And look, you miss every shot you don't take. So
word.
Shoot your shot.
Word.
Till next time.
Right.
Talk off the realist. Good looking out, TLWD. You got something to say before we bounce?
Yeah, just I always like to remind people you can always catch these episodes on Hav's YouTube page. So definitely tap back in if there was something that you appreciated, or if you logged in with us a little bit late, you can always tap into the YouTube page and catch the whole episode. And y'all, I'm just thankful for everybody being here with us on the day after Thanksgiving. It's a lot, there's a lot to be doing, but we appreciate y'all being here with us.
Word, man. We definitely appreciate it. And yeah, go get your Black Friday shopping on, man. You heard? Go get your Black Friday shopping on. Word up, man.
All right, everybody, be good. Stay safe. We'll talk in a second.
Yep.